Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. My talk today will be on, as I was asked to share, is about Islam and universal values. The outline is as follows. As a professor at the university, I just go very systematic in preparing my presentation. So we'll have an introduction and then definition of what we mean by universal values, Islam and universal values, applying universal values, revolution and universal values, and then conclude the talk. The objective of this talk is to show how universal values are presented in Islam. The approach will follow as follows. First, we'll define what are the universal values as described in the Declaration of Human Rights, present how Islam 14 centuries ago called people in the whole world to these values and more. Discuss to what extent these values are applied and explain why all revolutionist movements ask for applying these values. So the universal values enshrined in the Charter of the United Nations and in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights are peace at the global and local level, freedom of belief, speech, movement, etc., social progress through adoption of appropriate political and economic mechanisms, equal rights through adopting appropriate legal system, human dignity. Everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of him or herself, and of his family. If we look now about how Islam actually addressed the universal values. If we look in the history, we'll find that ethnic and religious hatred was still, and what still is, a major reason for conflicts at the global and local levels. Although the spirituality in the religions have the idea of tolerance and consequently peace. As we know, the word Islam in Arabic is derived from the root salima, which is actually the same root of the peace word, which is salam. Islam in its wider sense includes all revealed and earthly religions, as can be read in the verse, in this verse. So if they dispute with you, say, I have submitted myself to Allah and those who follow me. And say to those who were given the scripture, which Ahl Kitab, Jews and Christians, and to those who are illiterates, do you also submit yourself to Allah? If they do, they are rightly guided, but if they turn away, your duty is only to convey the message, and Allah is all. Another source of conflict, we are talking now about the universal value of peace. Okay. So peace here, we are talking about why, and peace, war is against peace, for example. So another source of conflict is religiosity against secularity. And we have this in Egypt now, actually, after revolution, and so many people talk about secularity and this religious movement. They think that secularity is against religion, for example. Although this idea of secularity, which appeared in the West, it was actually from the Islam point of view, I think that secularity is part of Islam. If we look to secularity as rational thinking, don't accept things for granted, but just you have to make your mind and search for what's better. So this is actually is a source again of not inner peace inside a nation. And Islam actually encourage people to think. So to be good Muslim, Christian, Jew, any religion, any faith, anything, you have to respect plausible reasoning, rational, logic, and people interest. Peace is the preferred choice in any conflict. Actually is one thing that is presented in Islam. This verse indicates this. If they incline to peace, incline, and the trust in God that He is the hearer and knower. Second universal value is freedom. The first part of the first pillar of Islam, which is La ilaha illallah. I don't want to give the translation not God but God, because it's actually in Arabic it does make have some other meaning than just the literal translation. So that's why I try to explain what does it mean actually. That you should not submit to any creature, but submit to God, who is transcendental, unseen, and nothing is like Him. He delegates all mundane decisions to humans and their abilities to learn and judge. This gives humans the ultimate freedom and responsibility. And this is actually a verse that talks about that. Behold, the Lord said the angels, I will create a vicegerent on earth. They said, well, those placed therein, one who will make mischief therein and shed blood, etc. So here the key word is vicegerent, which means, from my point of view, is actually as if he delegates, he delegates to human what they do on earth. Muslim, in the wider sense, does not follow any human blind or makes any material object as his ultimate goal in life. And this is again one meaning of freedom, that you do not actually just follow anyone without reason. And here we can see that in this verse, say, O people of the book, come to common terms as between us and you, that we worship none but Allah, that we associate no partner with Him, that we erect not from among ourselves lords and patrons other than Allah. And here the word is just to erect from among ourselves lords. Okay? So if you follow anyone blindly, even if he is a priest or sheikh or anything, without being convinced of what he is saying, this is as if you are taking him God. And this is against Islam in first place. The third universal value is the social progress. How Islam addresses these social progress? Islam encourages people not to keep money without being invested. And the investment here includes so many things. Even charity I can consider as part of it. But if you look to this verse, all you who believe, there are indeed many among the beasts and anchorets who is falsehood devour the substance of men and hinder them from the way of Allah, and there are those who bury gold and silver and spend it not in the way of Allah. So Islam encourages people to spend out and to invest And that's why, for example, the fourth pillar of Islam, if you don't spend your money within a year, there is some percentage that you have to take it out of your money and give it to the poor. Islam also promotes spending out on earth and always mentions that in conjunction with believing and praying. Always you find praying and just spending in the way of God. Who believe in the unseen are steadfast in prayer and spend out of what we have provided for them. Another verse, those who spend their substance in the cause of Allah and follow not up their gifts with reminders of their generosity, etc. So here the word in green, spend their substance in the cause of Allah. So they consider any spending, any investment, anything you do, you have to consider that you are dealing with Allah. Equal rights. Islam emphasizes equality among all people, irrespective of their religions. Those who believe and those who are Jews, Christians and the Syrians believe in Allah and the last day and does righteous deeds, then they the reward with the Lord, nor fear, nor shall they grieve. And this is actually, if God make equity of all these sects or this religion, any person who did righteous thing, this is very important. Not only you believe in God, you do righteous deeds. This is very important. Islam stresses equality between men and women. Women are the equals of men, this the Prophet said. Islam highlights that people must not be discriminated against based on ethnicity. No preference for an Arab over non-Arab except by birth. This another Prophet said. The last value is human dignity, last but not least for sure. In many verses of Quran, there is a stress on how humans are very special or have special roles on earth. We did indeed offer the trust to the heavens and the earth and the mountains, but they refused to undertake it, being afraid thereof, but man undertook it. So this is as if it is the life and the ability to change and to do so many things. And because if we look to the universe, the humans are the only creatures who can change in the universe. So this is something, we call it the trust here, and it is actually the life and the ability, mind, heart, and so many. We have honored the sons of Adam and provided them with transport on land and sea, and provided them with good things, and preferred them above many of those who created favor. So here the human, the man, actually has a very special role on earth. This is very important. And someone who has this role should be respected, should be dealt with very high level of honor. Sin of taking the life of a man without reason is magnified in Islam. On that account we ordain for the children of Israel that if anyone slew a person, unless it be for murder or for spreading mischief in the land, it would be as if he slew the whole people. And if anyone saved life, it would be as if he saved the life of the whole people. So to this extent, the soul and life of a person is actually magnified in Islam. Alas, if we look to the applying of the universal values in the history, these universal values have not been implemented on earth except for short period of time in Islamic history. If we are talking about Islamic history, these values were implemented for short time only. Although some of these values are applied later in Western countries now, at the local level, some of these countries do not apply the same values on the global level. In the developing and underdeveloping countries, there is complete absence of these values on the state level. The question, why these noble universal values have not been applied in the history of Turkey, is a difficult question to answer. But I can't mention few reasons. Tyrants who ruled many countries for a long time. Bad interpretation of religion teaching. Misconception of the objective of life. Hatred, hypocrisy, greed. All these bad things actually are reason for not applying these universal values. However, this is actually the nature of life since Adam and Satan came to earth. We have evil and right, and we will have this forever. However, there are sincere people who tried in the history of humanity to apply these values, and there are still such people who are trying. Now I came to my point before the end, or before concluding, revolutions and universal values. My own reflection on the relationship between the appearance of the universal values as slogans of revolutions are, and if we look to the French Revolution, Egyptian Revolution, any revolution, American Revolution, any revolution, you will find all people came out, they said the same thing, more or less. The universal values are inherent in every human being. When people gather for a noble cause, such as revolting against oppression, injustice, and tyranny, they discovered by their collective consciousness these values. The slogans of the French Revolution was liberty, equality, fraternity, and the 25th January Egyptian Revolution, the slogan were liberty, human dignity, and social justice. All universal values were manifested during the 18 days of the Egyptian Revolution. Women and men stood side by side, shoulder by shoulder. Christians and Muslims lived in peace, protecting each other. All people felt the beauty of freedom. The rich and poor were equal. To conclude this presentation, I hope I did not take long. The international community needs mechanisms of cooperation to maintain universal values and help people realize those values in their local environment. The current revolt in the Arab world is unprecedented in the history of the region and may open the door to all oppressed people to rise up against tyranny. The diversity of the religious discourses in the Arab region regarding economic, political, and social issues might help people to recognize the multiplicity of the interpretation of sacred texts. This might lead to acceptance of new interpretations of religions that rather unify, not divide, and make people live in peace rather than conflict. Thank you.